This episode is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the #1 seller of games and gaming accessories. And GatheringMagic.com, the #1 resource for Magic the Gathering news and articles.
I'm Steven, this is my Lyzolda the Blood Witch deck. Alright, so Lyzolda the Blood Witch, if you don't know, she's a 3/1 on 3, red and black, my favorite color pairing. She has an ability to pay 2, sacrifice a creature. If that creature's black, you can draw a card. If it's red, you can deal 2 damage to a creature player. So this is an aggressive, kind of snapshot you aggro deck with Lyzolda at the head of it. So let's get into it. There are 10 swamps, 2 mountains, bunch of tapping for both color lands, Akoum Refuge, Cairns, Carnarium. I like bouncing some of the other utility lands, a couple crack lands, Scalding Tarn, Molten Slagheap, a good charge land. Lavaclaw Reaches, this can finish people. I like the creature lands, and there's a way of flipping mana, so this is one of my kind of win conditions. Ghitu Encampment, Vault, great with Gravecrawler. I like the man lands, everything is wipe out, you can do more damage. Teetering Peaks is great to bounce back to your hand. Unholy Grotto returns zombies, which is a good card advantage with zombies. Crypt of Agadeem. So we're trying to get the graveyard full here and kind of abuse that way, so graveyard shenanigans are good. Forgotten Cave, Barren Moor. Rishadan Port. I really love this card. It turns off a lot of the other great cards the other players are going to be having. It's very political. You can turn that maze off at just the right time and lets you swing in. You can tap them down in the early turns and pretty much just walk through it. It's a really disruptive card. Love it. Shizzo Storehouse gives a legendary creature fear. Rick's Maddox, this is another great one. Make everybody discard a card. You're trying to get your big stuff in the yard anyway, so not at all a problem activating this on turn 4 right away and get those things in there. Leechridden Swamp, I like to have the lands that can deal damage too. As well as the creature lands, this deck is just trying to pound out the win. So all these that can deal those damage bits, good to have. Alright, now a little bit of the artifacts. There's Soul Ring, this is an EDH deck. Rakdos, Signet, Mind Stone, Power Stone, Crucible to get those lands back and keep going. Basilisk Collar goes great on Lyzolda. The creatures here can really abuse it as well. This is the only real piece of life link or life gain I have in the deck. Sometimes you'll need that life with plain black, but great equipment. Skull Clamp, the other great equipment I have here. Tons of creatures to clamp up. A lot of card advantage. Spawning Pit, another great way of sacrificing whenever you need to. Sacrificing's key in this, so this is one of the better ones. Alright, then some of my feeders. My favorite feeder of all is Bloodghast. If I want to put any creature in my yard, it's usually going to be Bloodghast, because he just keeps coming back. You can sack him with Lyzolda over and over, keep drawing cards. He's great. Gravecrawler, a little harder, but still you can play him from the yard. Vault really helps with him, like I was saying. Zombies. There we go. Mogg War Marshal, he's good to a couple creatures. Nether Traitor, he keeps coming back, good to sack. We got Bitter Blast will make you a guy each turn, a fairy in the air, and then Goblin Assault puts a guy on the ground every turn too. I like to abuse all these pretty much with braids. She got banned as a general, but she's still really fun to drop out there real early, and she grieves people pretty hard. She, in a group game, she's sacking 3 permanents to your 1, so braids is fun. A couple of the little 1-2 combos in here. Marlene the Morn Song. I want to have all the creature to be my effects really, so she's kind of my creature tutor effect. Usually when you tutor with her though, someone's just going to get another spell on their turn first and wipe her out. So you got to kind of trick her into play. There's a few ways of doing that, but if you can get her out and then go tutor for your Stranglehold, that'll totally lock players out. They won't be able to draw cards, they won't be able to search their decks, and they're losing 3 life a turn on top of it. So that's one of the first lockout combos. Zacchaeus is just stupid with combos. He just keeps them from happening. There's Workhorse. You can make infinite mana with Spawning Pit and with Lyzolda, a lot of different ways. The Lavaclaw, you can use that to finish. So he just death triggers all day long, makes that mana. And Triskelion, of course, just shoots it straight to the head. Nothing fancy. A little bit of tutoring, gamble, makes you discard a card, so sometimes I go get that early Bloodghast. Diabolic Intent, sacrificing a creature on top of it, and I usually got them. Insidious Dreams, you have to discard X cards when you play this, and then you get to stack your library with X. So I like to do maybe 3, and then right away you could do looting, and pitch the cards in the yard, grab a Victimize or something, and bring them all back. It's kind of a combo setup, whatever you need to win at that point. You can just pitch your hand and go for it. Entomb, start getting the yard full. These are my kind of yard pump spells. Buried Alive. Liliana, she's great. A lot of discarding. You want to discard your big, heavier creatures and then pull them out quicker against them. And she's a wonderful planeswalker in this deck. And they're just Faithless Looting, really great card for the early pitch. Usually you could tutor this with Entomb and just hit it for its flashback. It's so good. So, and then Necralgia. I don't have any Reliquary Towers or any way of keeping my hand. I want to pitch my cards, get them in the yard. So Necralgia for like 10 or 15, something like that. That way you can put those big topside guides in there. Corpse Connoisseur. He's the creature who gets creatures into the yard. And he unearths himself and does it again. So, part of my creature power. And then here's how I'm getting them out of the yard. Oversold Cemetery, if they have more than 4. And then Friction Reclamation. This one's just insane. Chaos Warp. This gets rid of generals. Nothing else. Enough said. And then Cruel or Gruesome Discovery. It's more of a heads up kind of card, but it really just thrashes a hand early game. Attunement, kind of unfair, not attunement, attrition. Yeah, attrition kind of just keeps killing them over and over and over. Here's some of the resurrection spells. Torrent of Souls, one of my favorite. It gives everybody the +2/+7 haste if you pay a red for it. So you can really put the twist on here with this one. Profane Command. Use it to resurrect. You can use it for the fear and the minus or the loss of life is a really good way to close. So great card. Victimize. Awesome, bringing 2 of them back. When you're buried alive, you want to have that Victimize to start grinding it. Dread Return. Flashback's good. Living Death. Combos really well with Flare. What was it? Flare of Hate. So you can bring like all your creatures when they come out of the yard. They deal damage equal to the power. So Living Death can just one-shot somebody with that, or you can just stuff that yard with a Necralgia and bring them all back. So here are the creatures that bring back creatures. Coffin Queen. She's primo. House Caretaker, you sack a creature and get 1 back, so he can usually flip advantage over and over and over. Body Snatcher, he's usually the best way to get Marlene. Marlene you want to throw in the yard, but Body Snatcher's great because you can play them out, have them die on their turn, pull her out, then use her ability to lock them. So Body Snatcher's a great way of just discarding other creatures as well. Balthor brings them all back, all the red and black creatures. And then here we go. This is the creatures that do all the other stuff in between the deck. Withered Rat, she's kind of my graveyard check, meaning more, but right now he's holding down the job. Goblin Sharpshooter, really good with a Basilisk Collar. Lots of creatures dying. He's really busy. Eighth of Mantra punishes those non-basic lands. He's red-black, so he's good to sack with Lyzolda. You can bring it back, do it again. Fleshblack Marauder, which is great. Sacrifice creature. Familiar Mage. Good for killing those non-basics. Murderous Redcap, great for Lyzolda. You can sack him twice, draw 2 cards, fling 7 damage around. Good stuff. Mind Slicer, usually if you have a Reclamation or a Oversold Cemetery, you can just play him out quick, sack him, and then make everybody just pitch their whole hand, and he's get on top that way really easy. So he's a great card, no one sees him coming. Graveborn Muse, the best card advantage in the deck. Goes right with all the zombies. You easily put back on top of that grotto and you can keep pumping out those cards. So she's my favorite card advantage. As well as Conscripts, good for grabbing a guy, good haste, beats. Siege Gang Commander, brings friends, sacks well, comes back. Harvester of Souls, kind of new, but draws you cards, so another good advantage engine. Kind of costly, but he's good. And there's Flayer of the Hatebound. Serious, powerful card coming out of the graveyard, especially with Living Death. Get him in there early. Grave Titan just makes tons of dudes, lots of stuff to sack. Hard to deal with, closes well. Butcher, usually have no problem getting your guys off the board, so with Butcher, you're pretty much clearing and controlling the whole top of it. So, and then cover back the Merciless. He could be the general in the deck, but I don't just like him in there. I like the damage he deals. people really don't read them all the way, and then they just play a creature and you can kill it, so he's heavy. Sheldred, she's one of the early ones you want to get in there and then just start engineering, usually with Rinskar Demon. Those are the two things you want to bury alive for, that and usually Bloodghast. And you can just start getting those situational cards over and over and over. And that's that. Thanks for watching CMDR Decks. Please subscribe and favorite.